pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, sir. All right, we'd like to go ahead and officially call the meeting to order. We will start that with a roll call. Councilwoman Cuellar.
Here.
Councilman Box.
Present.
Councilman Wilson. Is he still on? Councilman Wilson, are you with us tonight? You are unmuted, sir. You show that he's present? We do show that Councilman Wilson is present, and Councilman London is not with us at this time, and myself, I am present. What we would like to do, you probably see an agenda item number 4, approval of minutes from special council meeting and regular council. We don't have those officially signed off on yet, so we're going to move past that. One housekeeping piece I would like to go ahead and put out there on our virtual platforms, as I know we have a few running simultaneously. In regards to the Zoom, anyone that is on the Zoom, please put your questions into the Q&A. Please do not put them into the chat. They might get lost in the shuffle. So if you are on Zoom and you have a question, please put it into the Q&A specifically. And as far as any other questions, I will refer to Mr. Bishop for any other questions at those times. One thing I'm also going to do tonight is, as we move through these 2 pieces of business, I'm going to go ahead and invoke the 2-minute rule. So we will have 2 minutes to question any items. We will go through our rotation, and then we will come back for a follow-up opportunity for another 2 minutes. So we will be working with that today. That being said, can we go ahead and get a motion for the approval of current bills?
I make a motion that we pay the bills in the amount of $122,960.65.
May I have a second?
Second.
I'll say all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? At this time, it is time for any professional or consultant reports. Do we have any professional or consultant reports? Fair enough. At this time, Mayor, if you could deliver your report.
I have a report, but I'm going to go ahead and present this certificate for Arbor Day. So I'm going to go ahead and read it, and then I'm going to ask Mr. Sheldon and his guests if they would come, and I will present them with the certificate. Whereas in 1872, J. Sterling Morton proposed to the Nebraska Board of Agriculture that a special day be set aside for planting of trees, and this holiday called Arbor Day was first observed with the planting of more than 1 million trees in Nebraska. And whereas Arbor Day is now observed throughout the nation and the world, and whereas trees can reduce the erosion of our precious topsoil by wind, water, cut heating and cooling costs, moderate the temperature, clean the air, produce life-giving oxygen, and provide habitat for wildlife. And whereas trees are renewable resources giving us paper, wood for our homes, fuel for our fires, and countless other wood products. And whereas trees in our city increase property values, enhance the economic vitality of business areas, and beautify our community. And whereas trees, wherever they are planted, are a source of joy and spiritual renewal. Therefore, I, James W. Stewart Jr., Mayor of the City of Irondale, do hereby proclaim the week of February the 21st through the 27th, 2021 as Arbor Day Week.
Thank you very much, James. We've been very fortunate in we've operated the Irondale Tree Commission now for since 1996, I think. But we've had a few lapses of exercises in the past, and we try to achieve the Tree City USA Award each year. This year we've got patches for our signs we have on the entrance to the highway for 13 years, and we also have a little thing that goes on a board. We're still trying to locate, because last time they painted City Hall, they removed the last one, and we haven't been able to find it yet. We're working on it. But anyway, James has been a faithful supporter, and so has the city, of our Tree City USA program. The flag flies out there at the 5 points in Irondale East, and we hope to continue to get flags and be a Tree City USA. Thank you very much, James.
Mr. Sean, you and I have been friends for a long time, but my name now is Mayor.
Excuse me.
Would you like to say something?
She is one of our newest members of the Tree Commission, and she's also a forester. Well, I was too at one time, but and here works for the Conservation Department here in Alabama.
So my name is Katie Wiswall. I'm your Urban Forestry Partnership Coordinator. That's a nice title, isn't it? For the state of Alabama, for the Alabama Forestry Commission. And I've known Mr. Schoen for a long time, and I'm very excited that y'all have gotten back on the bandwagon with Tree City. And when you have your 14th year, which will be this year, you'll get a new flag.
Yay.
Every 2 years you get a new flag.
They wear out quick.
Yeah, so I'm just real excited that y'all are active and that you do so much with your trees. Whether you get the award or not, I live close by, so I see all that you do, and it's heartwarming to me as an arborist, as a forester, and just as a resident to see communities that care about their environment and the impact that trees have. So thank you very much, and thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Or you or what?
She lives just across the border.
I'll take a picture right there.
Get a little closer.
Get close together.
That's perfect.
That's not my shoes.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Steve.
Thank y'all.
Does that conclude your report, Mayor?
No, that was just the beginning, I'm sorry.
All right.
I'll try not to take too much time, but I just had several items that I wanted to share with the audience tonight before we move forward with our agenda. Okay. I just want to thank everyone that had an opportunity to be able to hear me give my first State of the City address, 101 days in office. I just wanted to let you know how much I appreciated that, and also I'm looking forward to at least another 4 State of the City addresses before we end our term. On tomorrow night at 6 o'clock, we're having a virtual town hall meeting. So anyone that wants to call in to be able to ask me questions about everything that has transpired in the first 100 days, I would be available to share that information with them. We're also next week going to have coffee with the mayor. That's Tuesday from 9 o'clock to 11 o'clock in the mayor's office. We're going to have Krispy Kreme donuts, and we're also going to make sure that we have the little individual coffee cups so that we can social distance, as well as make sure that we try to COVID-proof this event that we're having on Tuesday at 9 o'clock in the mayor's office. Also, this is the last week for Trash Amnesty. The goal is to make sure by February 25th that everything that was put out this week will be picked up. I want to share with people in District 5 that you are not going to be cheated out of your days. I've seen a lot of people send messages or have called the city, wanted to know we were going to extend it by another couple of days because we were closed for the holiday. We had inclement weather on yesterday. But if you put everything out Friday, over the weekend, we're still going to run the truck or the knuckle boom through your area to make sure that we get everything up by February the 25th. Also, I wanted to make sure that one of the things when I ran for office, I talked about the environment and how we wanted to make sure that keep our city clean. So I am proposing that the city of Irondale becomes a Keep America Beautiful affiliate, which means that if you are familiar with the neighborhoods
where people have those beautification signs in their yards. We're moving towards that we want to be able to reward people for being able to have beautiful yards, and also to encourage people to be able to do that. So I am also looking for some individuals that would be willing to serve on that committee as well. So it's called Keep America Beautiful, and the city of Irondale can become an affiliate to be able to provide this service in the community. Also, we are having what's called a Black History Art Project with the Irondale Community School, as well as with Grantswood Elementary School. The topic is, what does Black history means to me? It's going to be for grades 3 through 5. We're going to award each winner an Amazon Fire tablet. They have until February 26 to submit their artwork, and we're going to make the announcement at the City Council meeting on March the 3rd. We're going to be able to present them with those fire tablets. Also, I wanted to give you a quick treasurer report, since we're going to be dealing with the spending plan or budget for the city tonight. Through February the 17th, our revenues are $11,258,204.61. Our expenditures are $7,916,316.15, for a surplus of $3,341,888.46. The current bank balances are approximately $19 million that we have in restricted and unrestricted funds. Also, I had an opportunity to meet with Ms. Mary M. Helmer Worth. She is the executive director for Main Street. So we're looking at the city of Irondale becoming a Main Street city. What that will allow the city to do if we are a Main Street city, they will provide you with all the technical assistance that you need to be able to redevelop your downtown area. And guess how much it costs for you to be able to be a part of this organization? It's a number that the council loves to hear, $0. $0. So she is going to come on March the 3rd as well and give a presentation to the council about how the city of Irondale can begin by being in the Main Street network. And then we can move from being in the network to being a Main Street city. And they will actually work with us, I want to say 3 to 5 years, to help us to be able to develop our downtown area, and they will not charge us a dime to be able to do that. I wanted to give a few shout outs to a few of our employees. First of all, I would like to thank Fire Chief Josh McDaniel for being able to provide us with this wonderful streaming. He's put a lot of time into it. He told me at the last meeting he had spent the day before down here because he thought we were meeting here, and we ended up at the high school. But I just want to thank him for his diligence and his hard work that he is putting to making sure that the citizens of Irondale can be able to participate in our council meetings during the COVID season by providing this service here. Also, I want to thank him for being highlighted in a magazine talking about the city of Irondale being one of the few cities that have this system that is called Cradle Point. And it's called the Haas system. And initially when I asked Lee to get the acrostic for me, she sent it to me, and I said, what does this mean? Then I realized she had given it to me in a vertical chart for me to be able to read. So sometimes your mayor can't even figure out how to be able to read a simple text message. But the Haas system stands for Helpful Audible Alert System. So we're one of the few cities that actually participate in this program and have the ability to be able to have this type of communication with our crew when they are out in the fields dealing with emergencies. Also, the library received a LSAT grant in the amount of $20,000. So I would like to thank Dale and Michelle for being able to apply for that grant and receive it. And finally, and the last thing that I want to say is that Ms. Linda Coleman Madison, State Senator for District 20, also gave the library $1,000 in a community grant, and she just came by City Hall and just dropped the money off and just said give it to the library. So we also want to thank Senator Madison for doing that as well. That concludes my report for the night, Council President's file.
Thank you, Mayor. All right, Councilwoman Cuellar.
Good evening, everyone. Just want to welcome all of you that are here, and glad that I'd like to commend our police department and all our first responders who worked diligently yesterday during the cold weather that the Alabama experienced, the city of Irondale. Thank you for all the work you did to open up the roads and getting them cleared again. You did a great job, and I want to thank you for that. That's all I have to report.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Councilman Box.
Yeah, thank you, Councilwoman Sparty. Just want to echo Councilwoman Cuellar's remarks on police and fire, and Mayor on his remarks and updates on the library. That was really good too. I don't want to ever forget our public works guys. They're out there doing the same thing day in, day out, trying to keep the streets clean, patching the roads and stuff like that too. With that said, I will move on to you, sir.
Outstanding. Thank you, Councilman Box. Councilman Wilson, I understand you're with us?
That is correct. Are you able to hear me?
Absolutely.
Oh, great, great. Well, first, I would like to say good evening. Thanks to everyone who is able to not only make the council meeting in person, but also virtually. Just have one, I didn't hear the mayor's full comment, but I just want to thank the mayor for providing some extra days to District 5 during Trash Amnesty Day. I thought I was going to have to send out a petition to campaign for more days since we got shortchanged, but Mayor, I see you got all the phone calls that I received, so I really appreciate you adding a few more days to that. But on top of that, you mentioned some dates as far as it's going to be extended. Did I hear February the 25th? Was that correct?
What I said was that if individuals would put their trash items out through the weekend, that we will make sure, or we will try our best to make sure that everything is removed by February the 25th.
Okay, and that's in District 5?
Yes.
Okay, all right. Thank you so much. That's all I have.
Thank you, Councilman Wilson. As far as myself tonight, I always echo any positive comments around the police and fire. I know that I chose not to get out in it. Thankfully, I had a delayed start at work, and I was very thankful for that. But for those out in it, whether it was public works or a first responder, our thoughts go out to everybody involved in that. I do want to give a housing and abatement update real quick. Old business, 519 Gatey Lane, yard cleared up. We'll check on structural updates. 1133 Saddlebrook Road, fully renovated and for sale. 1817 3rd Avenue South, debris have been cleaned up. 528 Conway Lane, new roof and siding. We'll check on other structural issues. 5214 Amber Hills Road, family living in house, removed from list. New business that the Housing and Abatement Board will be looking for is they do have a vacancy now due to the exit of a young lady named Judy Lovelace in District 2. So we'll be looking for a representative to fill those shoes. As far as ongoing business that they are looking at, 2305 First Avenue South, there was a motion to abate that. 4999 Overton Road, there was a motion to abate that. 2210 First Avenue North, a motion to give 60 days for rehab. And then Siesta Motel, motion to abate. I don't know a lot of the I don't know what was involved in the new business and the motions, but it looks like our Housing and Abatement Board is being very active in getting some things done. So I appreciate their work as well. In regards to planning and zoning, I don't know if I stated this, there was not a planning and zoning meeting last month, so I do not have any updates for that one. But there will be one this upcoming Thursday, so I will update you guys accordingly. That being said, that concludes my comments.
Council President Spivey?
Yes, sir.
Do you mind if I just mention two things, because I didn't want to mention one of them because I know that you were a part of it. Councilman Wilson was a part of it, but I did want to let people know that the Jefferson Memorial Project was canceled on yesterday because of the weather, but it is going to take place this Tuesday at the same time. And my final thing, and I promise you this is my final thing, I'm not going to close like a Baptist preacher. Councilman Box, I'm going to bring it on in, land the plane.
Right there.
I'm bringing it in, but also I wanted to thank everyone that participated on a short notice this weekend. We were able to receive 200 boxes of food from iCare Alabama. I received a text message at 9:30 on Wednesday, called Frank at 9:30 that same night, and Frank said, "Mayor, don't worry about it. We'll do whatever we need to do to make sure that we get that food out in the community." So we were down here Saturday without any fanfare. Within an hour and a half, we passed out 200 boxes of food, and they have also decided that they're going to let the city of Irondale be a part of their regular distribution. So we're going to give away 200 boxes of food on the 27th, and every other Saturday until the end of April, we're going to be able to give away food to the citizens of Irondale. Also, if you're a senior, if you call the office, call 205-951-1383, speak to Ms. Lee Allison, and we also have a delivery service. So we're just like Ship now. So if you call and you can't get out, we will even deliver those boxes of food to your home, because we don't want anybody in the city to go without having food. So I wanted to thank Frank for helping me out with that, taking the lead, and everybody else that gave up their Saturday on the spur of the nose. We had about 11 individuals down here, and I didn't ask them. I just told them that the food was here. And when I showed up, they were here as well. So I just want to thank the great employees that we have here that work at the city of Irondale as well. But we will be giving away free food every other Saturday through April. And it's free. The only thing we have to pay for is the truck to go pick the food up to be able to give it out to the citizens.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate that.
Mayor.
Councilman Wilson?
Council President, do I have the floor?
Yes, sir. I'll yield the floor to you.
All right, thank you. Mayor, I just want to thank you for, suggesting one of your staff members, Frank Pennington, for going with me to District 5 to deliver those boxes. It was such a joy. Normally we only go door to door when we're campaigning, but, just to go by some of the residents in District 5 and distribute some of those boxes, it felt very good. So, I want to echo what you said. If we have any citizens, it doesn't even have to be District 5. It could be anywhere, because we're all stewards of the city. So, if we have anyone that, needs a box delivered or whatever the case may be, like you said, just contact City Hall. But I really enjoyed that, so thanks a lot.
Thank you, sir. And Mayor, I appreciate you commenting on the memorial that was installed. Obviously, with the weather, that memorial unveiling was going to be Tuesday afternoon. That didn't necessarily work out to be the best day for anybody. So it has been pushed back to next Tuesday, so that this upcoming Tuesday, there will be an unveiling. Now, it's not necessarily because of COVID, it's not necessarily a public event, but it will be live streamed. And I know that they were real good about getting the notice out on the various Facebook forums and things like that. And I know a few people in the room shared that, so I appreciate that. Just expect that to be coming down the pipe as well for the upcoming Tuesday It's very, very interesting program, and if you don't know anything about the EJI down in Montgomery, you should definitely take a look at what they're doing and the initiatives that they have going on in communities throughout Jefferson County. So thank you for that. That being said, I believe I skipped department head reports. I know we have a few department heads in the room. I know we've heard from water tonight already, but are there any department heads that would like to give any reports? Fair enough. At this time, we will look for any reports of boards or non-council committees. Okay. We'll now move into the council deliberation on agenda items only. And then we have two items, both of which are new business. One is Resolution 2021 R13, which approves the fiscal year 2021 general fund budget. And then the second item, which is Resolution 2021 R14, which establishes a temporary moratorium on certain new businesses within the city of Irondale. And I know this is something that Councilman Wilson worked on, so I appreciate his work. And Ms. April, thank you so much for getting that together for us. We appreciate that. That being said, we will go on a 2-minute comment time system. We will start, since Councilman London is not with us, we will start on Councilwoman Cuellar's end, and we will move towards myself, and then once those initial round of questions have been satisfied, if needed, we will move into an additional 2-minute time for follow-up questions. So that being said, the item number one is open for deliberation. Councilwoman Cuellar, you have the floor for 2 minutes.
Yes, I just wanted to note that I had a Zoom meeting with our mayor yesterday for about an hour and asked a lot of questions in regard to the budget. And there was a couple items that he was going to check on. One of them had to do with the amount for parks, the health insurance. Mayor, did you get a chance to check on that?
Yes, that was an entry error.
Okay, so it should have been how much? 28?
Should have been somewhere in the neighborhood of the 2,800 to 3,000 range.
Okay.
The amount that was budgeted is correct. The amount that was shown to be spent for that fiscal year was incorrect.
Okay. All right. Thank you. And then just the other things that we discussed were the various line items for each cost center. And I've noted, that coming from a banking and business background, we typically look at each line item and look at the historical data and see if there's a 10% variance, either up or down. And I noticed that a lot of these line items, the variances were really either too low or too high. And the mayor noted that, as long as the total amount, the bottom line, is what he worries about. Whereas I tend to come more from a background of, we look at each one because we can make adjustments either up or down, so that we're not caught with some surprises at the end of the year, or even a mid-year, but those things can be revised.
Thank you, ma'am. We'll come back to you momentarily.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Councilman Box, you have the floor for 2 minutes.
Thank you, sir. I just wanted to thank the mayor for his dedication to get this budget worked out for us in a kind of a year where things are a little higgledy-piggledy, and I appreciate Councilwoman Cuellar's thoroughness in trying to investigate through it. With that said, the only concern I would have is as she had pointed out in an earlier meeting, there were a couple of department heads maybe a little ahead on their expenditures, but since we are in a year when everything isn't as it normally would be, I think those are going to work themselves out in the long run as we go through the year. And that's all I have.
Fair enough. Councilman Wilson, you have the floor for 2 minutes. Councilman Wilson? Is
Is he muted, Josh?
Yeah, sorry about that.
Okay,
Thank you.
all right. You have the floor for 2 minutes, sir.
First, I would like to just thank the mayor for reaching out to me and asking if I had any questions in reference to the budget, and basically he kind of addressed, you know, any concerns that I had, which I didn't have many, but basically, that's it. That's it. I'm sorry.
Okay. So is that, are you
Somebody
good?
sent me a message. I'm
Okay.
sorry.
You're fine. So do you yield back your time?
Yes.
Outstanding.
No, you good. I'm good. That's all.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate that. And then myself, all my, any following questions that I had were resolved with the mayor when I participated in that Zoom meeting with the mayor and Councilwoman Cuellar. So it was nice to spend some time going through that. So thank you for both of y'all's time and setting that up. Okay. And John is not with us, correct? Correct. Okay. Just wanted to double check. All right. Since we've run through the initial two on that, Cindy, I'll go ahead and
Council
President,
can I just say one thing?
Yes, sir.
Only thing that I wanted to say is I want to just overall just share very quickly my philosophy in budgeting for a municipality. The way that I look at it, I've constantly tried to be very conservative when it comes to dealing with the revenues, because I never want to over-project what we have coming in. And I'm very aggressive on the expenses, because I realize that I work with 11 fantastic individuals that if they don't have to spend the money, they're not going to spend the money, and that just creates a surplus in the budget like we had last year of close to $3-some million. Also, I wanted to say, although I do not go through each line item by determining if they're over by 10% or under by 10%, I do look at each line item, but I'm only concerned with the amount that we've allocated for that department. So if I see that overtime is over by 20%, I will have a conversation with them to find out why it's over by 20%. But I am not concerned about, do I need to allocate more money to that line item? Because when I look at the overall budget, and if they're under by 10%, then to me, being under 10% with $4 million is more important than being 10% below a $10,000 miscellaneous item. So I just wanted to share, that's my philosophy. That's what I do when I get ready to create a municipal budget, and I've been doing that for the last 13 years.
Thank you, sir. Councilwoman Cuellar, you have an additional 2 minutes.
Okay, thank you. And also looking, one of the first things I did when I looked at the budget was I looked at our 2020 projected budget, which was $17,374,487.57, and then looked at the 2021 projected budget. And we're talking about expenditures, and the expenditures for 2021 that are projected are a little over $21 million. So when I take a look at that, looking at both of them, we're talking about a $3.7 million increase from 2020 to 2021. With that in mind, I looked at our actual expenditures for 2020, which were 20 million, a little over 20 million. That left a difference of about 2.6 million. So then I looked for those 2.6 million, and the bulk of it was operating transit out. It was about 2.6 million, which went to capital accounts so that we could make these capital improvements, which was a very good decision to do that, because we do have improvements that we need to make from an infrastructure standpoint. So when you look at that and you compare it, we don't know, but what we are projected to have as far as a surplus for 2021 is $2 million. So I'm hoping that some of that will continue to be moved to capital improvements as well as reducing our bond debt, because we need to get out of debt as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman Quayle. Councilman Fox, would you like the floor?
No, I'm still good, Councilman. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, sir. Councilman Wilson, would you like the floor for an additional 2 minutes? We'll go no on that based on his prior comments. Okay. That being said, we move on to our second item of new business.
I'm sorry, Councilman President, can I just speak to, I just wanted to answer Councilwoman Square our question. Although we have projected a $2 million surplus in this budget, if you look down towards the end of the budget where it says transfer out, there's $1 million that's set aside to be transferred over to the capital budget to continue to be able to provide the city with capital funds. So it would have been $3,013,000, but because we are intentionally transferring $1 million this year to the capital fund, we want to be able to keep that moving forward and making sure that we keep our employees with the latest and greatest that's out there that allow them to be able to do their job in an effective and efficient way.
Thank you, sir. Moving on to new business, item number 2, Councilwoman Quayle, do you need the floor for 2 minutes?
No.
All right. Councilman Fox.
No, item number 2, I'm satisfied with.
Outstanding. Councilman Wilson, new business item number 2. Sorry. Councilman Wilson, you have yourself muted. If you would like to make any comments on item number 2 under new business, please unmute yourself.
Okay, I can barely hear you, Council President.
My mic's not on, man, I'm sorry. So do you have any questions? You have 2 minutes for item number 2 on new business.
No, I don't have any comment on that. This is an item that I think has been addressed for several years. But other than that, no. I would like to thank April for, coming up with the resolution and adding some language in there I think would be very beneficial to the city when it comes to payday loan companies. But other than that, I don't have anything. No comment.
Thank you, Councilman Wilson. So based on the prior comments, I'm going to assume that we are ready to approve the agenda. That being said, may we have a motion to approve the agenda?
I make a motion we approve the agenda.
May we have a second?
Second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. At this time, we find ourselves ready for public comments on agenda items only. I will be enforcing the 2-minute mark. Do we have any public comments on agenda items only, both items that we just discussed? Ma'am, if you could come up, state your name and your address for us, please. And these are just on the 2 items that we've been speaking about.
Do you want this form? You want me to stand in?
Okay.
Michael Ann Markowitz. I'm an Irondale resident, and I want to thank the mayor for the transparency of the budget this year. Thank you very much. It's very helpful to have a chance to look at it ahead of time. And I just have some comments, not as a criticism, it's more my ignorance than anything else. And I thank everyone for putting all the time into the budget. And I've got a handout to give to folks. I had noticed that there's some large discretionary funds, and in my experience, I thought that having a large discretionary fund, if you're starting from scratch, is helpful because you can't anticipate expenses, but the qualifications of the counselors and the mayor are quite extensive and impressive. And so I was unsure why you would need to have such a high dollar amount in a discretionary fund, since you already have a lot of experience of where the money needs to go. In particular, the mayor's discretionary fund was $5,000, and now you put it 10 times higher to $50,000. And the councilor's discretionary fund is budgeted $25,000 2020. You've only spent $2150, but you're increasing it to $50,000. So that seems a lot of money, considering you know where your money needs to go. And I was also concerned with why $100,000 is proposed for public schools when the tax from Jefferson County pays for the schools. It just seemed to be odd. So these are just questions I'd like to bring up, in addition to having a nonprofit and paying for website support. Your website management expenses was $5,000 last year, and you're budgeting $25,000. I can tell you that.
Thank you, ma'am.
That's a lot. Can I hand these to you guys?
Sure.
Right, thank
And
you.
Mayor, would you care to briefly respond to her questions?
Yes, I'll respond to them, very quickly. The reason that we have $50,000 discretionary fund, for the mayor, because it gives the mayor the latitude and the freedom to be able to address those items that come before him that really does not take council approval. The council will be informed about everything that these funds will be used for. These funds will be used for a public purpose under the state law. We also talked about Councilwoman Cuellar is also going to come up with a format to make sure that when we do make these expenditures that they meet the state law. The $50,000 for each counselor, it allows the counselors to be able to provide work in their district. A bunch of them have a lot of different neighborhoods. They have neighborhood associations. They have things that's going on. It basically gives them the flexibility to be able to do things in their district and not to be hamstrung by always having to come to the council to get approval to be able to do things. Not that you're circumventing whatever's getting ready to take place, because every expenditure, every first and third Tuesday, when the councilors receive the report with all of the bills on it, they know exactly where the money is going. You wanted to know why the website management expenses is $25,000. The reason that it's $25,000 because we're getting ready to revamp the website. So this is not for maintenance only. This is to be able to redesign the website within the next 2 to 3 months to make it more efficient, to be able to provide information to our citizens on a timely manner, but most of all, to become the official voice of the city of Irondale. So if you want to get correct information, we are encouraging you within the next few months to make sure that you go to the city website to be able to get whatever information you need. We're also going to make sure that when we stream, that we'll be able to stream from the city website and not to be able to stream from the different platforms and the things that we're doing now. So this is the reason why you see the $25,000 for the website, the $50,000 for the mayor's discretionary fund, and the $50,000 for the councilor's discretionary fund. If you have any additional questions, I don't have a problem with scheduling a meeting with you to discuss the other questions. My phone number is 205-914-2131.
Thank you, sir. Any other questions on agenda items only from the in-person crowd? Mr. Bishop, do you have any questions from the 2 areas that you're streaming to?
Negative.
Thank you, sir. Chief McDaniel, do you have any questions from the Zoom?
Yeah, I think we can see it on the board there. Larry, Commissioner, from 923 Iowa Road, should I agree with the speaker that the discretionary fund $50,000 for the mayor and $25,000 council is excessive? Her point about our leaders' knowledge of expenses and expenditures, what type of accountability would there be?
Fair enough. And I hope that she heard the mayor's reply, since the question seems to be a restatement of the prior. Any other questions from the audience in regards to to agenda items? I think we're prepared to move on. Okay. That being said, may we have a motion for Resolution 2021 R13 that approves the fiscal year 2021 general fund budget? May we have a motion?
I make a motion that we approve Resolution 2021 R13, the existing budget for the fiscal year 2021.
May we have a second? Councilman Wilson, you are unmuted. We're looking for a second for item number 1 under new business. Fair enough. I will go ahead and second that. Due to the technology issue, I'm looking for a yay or a nay out of Councilman Wilson.
Second.
You second? Thank you, sir. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Councilman Cuellar, I didn't hear your yay or nay.
I said aye.
Oh, I apologize. Thank you. So that is, that motion passes. Thank you very much. Moving on to item number 2, looking for a motion for Resolution 2021 R14 that establishes a temporary moratorium on certain new businesses within the city. Will someone move that for approval?
I make a motion that we approve Resolution 2021 R14 as stated in the resolution.
Thank you, sir. May we have a second?
I'll go ahead and second, but I was hoping that Councilman Wilson would do it since he sponsored it.
He just chimed in. Thank you
Okay.
very much, Councilwoman Cuellar. That being said, now that we have a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. Thank you very much. We find ourselves now at public comments to the council on non-agenda items. I understand we do have one gentleman that would like to speak, so I would like to go ahead and call up Mr. Estes. I believe I have that correct?
You do.
Outstanding. Sir, you have the floor for 3 minutes.
My name is Sammy Estes. I am from Elbridge, Alabama. Address is 3232. I approached the city about a year ago. I own 10 acres plus at 1521 Heritage Drive. I had came to the city about a billboard I wanted to put on the corner of the property. I actually bought this property just to do a billboard. And I had, later on, I had talked with the city about narrowing the board down to a one-sided electronic board. The first time I came in based on making a zoning change. And I had a lot of people here that was very opposed to that. I don't care to rezone it. I want to leave it like it is. I have different buyers for the property. I'm actually holding off on the sale until I get this straightened out. So I guess the reason I keep pushing this, there were some billboards approved across the road that fell under C1. I'm being told C1 is not approvable billboards. And I think there's actually been one approved down here in town. I believe they've been working on it the last few days, trying to get it up. I don't know what's happening on it. But that's why I'm here. I want to get this straightened out. I know people have concern about the light shining back on houses. Where it's going, there's no houses going to see this. It will be blacked out on one side, and it's going to be about 25 feet off the ground because it's actually up on the hill. And it's facing 459. It's from 459 Reed. So, that's my complaint. I thank y'all for hearing me.
Absolutely.
I have a question.
Absolutely.
Sir, Mr. Estes? I have a
Yes.
question. How much of that 10 acres would actually be usable for, let's say, a park or something
A
like that?
park, I would say about, probably, I'd say about 8 acres of it.
Okay. Is the topography of it fairly chopped up then, or is it a level area?
It's up on a hill, about a third of it is at the lower point going up. And then it flattens out on top, it's opened up on top where trees have been cut. To the left, next to the apartments, it does have a high drop off, which probably takes out about maybe an acre. Actually, that would be about the only thing that I see that would not be able to be used.
Okay.
And, but I've been approached from different people about wanting to change it, people wanting to buy it for residential. And, you know, I don't care what they do with it. I don't want, I was trying to kind of see who I sell it to, what goes in to keep it. I know there's nice homes down there, and I wouldn't want somebody throwing something up that would look like an eyesore going to it. And the Christian school is across the road.
A lot of the residents in that district, that is my district. And
Yes.
have really expressed, definite concerns about this, that, or the other, but they also expressed some interest if somehow coming up with a park or some baseball field, something like that along those realms, that the possibility of a billboard could be maybe incorporated into some scoreboards or something like that for the park. So I am looking at some of that type of thing. I don't know if anybody's approached yet about purchasing the property.
They have not.
Okay. So
If they did, I would work with the city on the property.
Okay.
So,
I'd like to get with you after the meeting, possibly.
sounds good.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Mayor, do you have any follow-up comments around that?
Councilman Box?
Yes.
Yeah, I have, if I heard the gentleman correctly, like I said, I could barely hear. He's talking about putting up a billboard right off 78. I think this was in your district, is that correct?
Yes, that's correct, sir.
Yeah, I also received some comments about that as well. If you don't mind, could you kind of get his number? I would like to speak with him as well, or speak with both of you about that. Because there's, like I said, there's several citizens that I know in that area as well that had some concerns. So if you don't mind, could I kind of engage in that conversation with you and the gentleman that just spoke?
Yes, sir. I'm going to get his information after the meeting.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Wilson. Mayor?
I would say that Mr. Estes' history about the property is correct. He did come to the Planning and Zoning Board, and the board did not recommend for him to be able to do it. Then he decided that he wouldn't go to the city council since it didn't go through the Planning and Zoning Board. He and I have talked several times about, what are some of the options that he have, maybe selling the property or, doing some other things with it because of the opposition from the neighborhood. But I did want to say that the one that you mentioned that was being erected on Highway 78, we have shut that one down. It was approved in error, and they stopped them from actually erecting that billboard last week.
Thank you, sir.
I just have one question. When you were speaking earlier, gentlemen, sir, did you say that you had different buyers for the property?
I do have different people who have contacted me on the property, want to do different things. I've actually had a crane company to contact me. I've had a lawn company that does grass. They have about 30 trucks. They're going to use it for parking with a garage on it, and I kind of stayed away from that one, but I have several contacts about the property. But I wanted to get this corrected first.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Any other comments on non-agenda items from the in-person crowd? I saw his hand up, Mr. Summer. Please state your name and your address for us, sir. And you have the floor for 2 minutes.
My name is Ross Croy on Haven Hill Road. My comment is also on signs, but not billboards. We've got a plethora of signs that don't conform in the city that go down around the 5 Points area, along 78 and on Grantsville Road. Used to, we didn't allow these. I don't think they conform to our sign ordinance. We've got a bunch of flapping signs and a lot of advertisement signs that are just stuck up on the right of way, and I don't think that they should be there. I don't know who to go to with it, but we need to take a look at some. I think we should take a look at some of that and maybe clean our city up a little bit.
Thank you. Mayor, who might he go to? What would be his best resource?
I mean, to be honest with you, I mean, you would come to me if, I mean, I'm responsible for the city, so, I mean, I don't know who else you would go to other than coming to the mayor.
I didn't know since it violated sign ordinances for somebody to look at it. But I'll get with you and we'll talk about it. Okay, thank you, James. Mayor.
Mayor,
His
Can I
Highness.
just ask one question? Is there a way that we can get some of our sign ordinances so that we're all clear? It's kind of hard to maneuver through the muni code. April, could you get us that information? You're really good at that. Thank you so much. Yeah, because it's hard to maneuver that site. But I'd be interested in seeing what kind of sign ordinances we currently have in place.
All right, thank you, Councilwoman Cuellar. If you would like to work through that with our city attorney, by all means. Any other question? Thank you, sir. Please come on up.
Yeah, Council President?
Yes, sir, Councilman Wilson.
I would also like that to go through our ordinance committee as well.
Absolutely. Yes, sir. You have the floor for 2 minutes.
David, James, excuse me, Mayor. Appreciate very much your listening to this one more time. I'm going to keep talking about it. Is there some way the city can make a difference in parking in front yards in Rock Ridge and the rest of the city? Because we've got one person that parks 3 or 4 cars in their front yard, in a muddy yard, and he repairs it every other day, but it's still cars parked in the front yard, which is against our ordinances. So I would appreciate if somebody would enforce or tell me some way that we can make a variance in the ordinance to X out one part of the city and allow us to enforce the ordinance in Rock Ridge. Secondly, I support Ross and his comments about the signs. This is another pet peeve of mine also. We've had a lot of signs that have been erected and left up, banners dangling around on Crestwood Boulevard, and it just doesn't look very good, and I'd like to see it cleaned up, because we do have ordinances against that. Thirdly, I've got the power company. Y'all did a great job in putting up all the new lights and everything. I appreciate it very much, but the light in front of my house is so bright that I look outside, it's like daylight coming in my house. And on the previous light that was there, we had a shade on the back of it. I've called the power company 4 times, and they just shut me off. So maybe Mr. Wilson can be of some assistance in this issue. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. And Councilman Wilson, it sounds like you're very popular tonight. Mr. Stone, if you could get with Councilman Wilson, since he heads up ordinances, and see if that's something we need to have and revisit. I know we've spoken a lot about it before, but I'm not tremendously familiar with that ordinance. It sounds like it might need to come to an ordinance meeting, and if we need to bring in any expertise around variances, we can take a look at doing so.
Thank you.
Thank
Yes.
you.
Yes,
Any questions from?
You know, that question came up, that same comment came up a couple of years ago about parking in yards, and I know we had a plethora of citizens that came in from over there on Fort Bradford Road. It was, yeah, they didn't have another option as far as parking is concerned, but tell Mr. Chung we can definitely look at that again and try to curtail some of those cars that's being parked in the front yards. Maybe we could go at it at a different angle.
Fair enough, thank you, sir. Any other questions around non-agenda items from our in-person audience? Okay. Mr. Bishop, do we have any questions from any of your streaming platforms?
No.
No? And then Chief McDaniel, any questions from yours? Outstanding. That being said, since there are no further questions, I would accept a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Outstanding. We are adjourned. Thank you, everyone, for joining us tonight and working through.